I've been sitting here for a while, just thinking about the word mercy. It's a heavy word, right? It sounds like something that belongs in some massive cathedral or courtroom even. But I'm also thinking about it from the smaller stuff, from a perspective of just, the mundane stuff, the day-to-day stuff. The way we are so incredibly generous with everyone else. Like you see a stranger struggling with their groceries, or if a friend calls you and they're crying because they have failed at something. Maybe they missed a deadline, or they weren't the parent that they wanted to be today. What's the first thing that you do in such a moment? Your heart softens, right? You don't ask them for a whole CV of their good actions and deeds before you decide to be kind. You don't ask if they have meditated, if they cooked, if they ate well, if they drank water, if they did 1, 2, 3, if they hit their targets, if they were early, or if they were worthy of the air in their lungs today. You just see the fragmented edges and you reach out. You tell them, hey, look at everything that you've done. Look at everything else that you're carrying. So it makes sense that you dropped the ball. It makes sense that you are just human. So you build this huge safe room for them to sit in until they feel better. But then the minute the call ends, you turn that very same lens on yourself, and suddenly that room disappears. It's like the walls close in, and the mercy that you just gave away for free, you start charging yourself an entire premium for it. You think, I don't get to feel okay. No, not today. I haven't earned the right to be kind to myself. Because look at this mess. Look at the chaos. Look how far behind I am. Look how I didn't get to 1, 2, 3. It's as if we think we don't deserve grace as much as, well, literally everyone else. Like we are the only ones who have to be perfect to be worthy of a break, to take a rest. We've got this internal ledger, this heavy, invisible book where the spine is cracked from how many times we've opened it today. And we are constantly telling and writing and keeping score. We think if we stay in the shame long enough, if we let it sit on our chest like a cold weight, then that discomfort will eventually pay for our mistakes. But we're just human. We treat our guilt like a down payment on a version of us that doesn't even exist as yet. But I'm realizing you can't beat your body or a soul into flourishing. You just can't. When you're hard on yourself, you're not being accountable. You're just making that room smaller and you're making the air thinner. And if we're being honest and if we're being real, nobody, and I mean no one, does their best work when they're suffocating. I keep thinking about how we treat the things that grow. If you have a plant in the corner of your room and it's wilting, the leaves are perhaps even turning that brittle, dusty brown. You don't stand over it and start shouting at it. No, you don't tell it, oh, once you start looking green and vibrant again, then only then will I give you some water. No, that's backward thinking. That's not logical. The plant needs water because it's wilting. It needs it in those parched, quiet parts of the soil where we can't see. And the grace is that slow soak. It's for the brittle parts of your character. It's for the days where you feel like staying in bed because, the world just feels a bit too loud and too much for you in that moment, in that day. It's for the moment you drop the ball yourself and you expect to hear a crash, but all you hear is the sound of your own heart still beating. But we treat our own souls like they're machines. We think if we can just run while we are depleted until we reach some, imaginary finish line, then only then do we get to rest. Only then do we get to be kind to ourselves. Only then do we get to be human. Only then do we get to be gentle. But grace is the water. It's for those brittle parts. It's for those moments, those days when you're leaning against the wall and you don't have a valid reason for being tired, but you know you're just tired. That day, and you know that day where you just feel like staying in bed, keeping the curtains closed, and just staying in. The moment, for that moment when you drop the ball, not intentionally. And so I'm trying this thing. It's hard. It's not easy. It even feels a bit wrong. I'm trying to drop that heavy book. I'm leaning it against the wall and just walking away from all that telling and keeping the score. I'm trying to realize that those high, wide hallways and high ceilings that I built for everyone else, they were also meant for me too. Not because I checked every box today, not because I'm winning, not because I'm finally getting it right, but because I'm here. And being here is enough of a reason to be kind to yourself. You are not falling behind your life. You're just living it. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's loud. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's chaotic. But you're living it. And you are allowed to be a person. Not a project, not a machine, not anything else. Just a human being. I think we spend our entire lives, our whole lives waiting for a permission slip that's already in our pockets. We're waiting for someone to tell us that, hey, the debt is paid. Well, consider it paid. Give yourself the room to breathe. And no, I'm not talking about a shallow breath. Not just, I'm getting by type of breath, no. But a breath that will reach those brittle parts. The kind that reminds you that you are alive. And that is a miracle all on its own. So you can stop running now. The room is wide enough for you. There's enough air. And so breathe. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace.